The mound. He pitched one inning, was tagged for 4 hits. 1 run has been charged to him, and he's responsible for K-line at third and Cash on first. And coming on now is a right-hander, Ron Willis, who won 2 games and lost 3, led the Cardinals most appearances this year with 48. Remember Saturday, 2 right-handers going, Washburn for the Cardinals, Wilson for the Tigers. Game 3 at Tiger Stadium. Jim Simpson and Sandy Koufax will be bringing World Series report your way. That will start at 12:30 Eastern Time, an hour earlier than it has been today and yesterday, just before the 3rd game of the 1968 World Series. Ron Willis, 25 years old, born in New Bern, Tennessee, lives now in Memphis, the same home city as Tim McCarver. How's he been this year, Harry?
He's done well. He's appeared in more games than anybody else. His record was only 2-3, but records for relief pitchers aren't as indicative as the games have been in, the innings they've pitched. He's a sinker baller, has a good curveball. He's a converted third baseman and outfielder. He was signed originally as a center fielder, and then they made a pitcher out of him in the Cardinal farm system. When he's effective, his sinker ball is the big pitch. And with Willie Horton coming up first, they want to keep the ball down and hope that Horton will hit it on the ground. They don't want him to get the ball up in the air because they're jumping out of here pretty good today.
At third base is K-line. At first base is Cash. There's nobody out. Tigers trying to extend their lead to 5-1. First pitch is high and away from Willie Horton. Horton is so strong he can hit a bad pitch out of the ballpark. He'll hit him up around his eyes. He still goes chasing sometimes in the dirt for pitches. A 1-0 pitch. Outside to him again, ball 2. Two balls and no strikes. The outfield set deep, well over toward left. 3-0. A left-handed batter's on deck, Jim Northrup. Every man's hit safely in the Tiger lineup with the exceptions of Freehan and Wirt so far. He walked him on 4 pitches. Tigers have the bases loaded, nobody out, and Jim Northrup. He was a Grand Slam kid this year. He led the major leagues in Grand Slams with 4, and he had 2 in 1 game against Cleveland on June 24th. He also hit another Grand Slammer that week, the only player who's ever hit 3 Grand Slam home runs in 1 week during a season. Now they're set up for him. Strike.
Kurt, some of the greatest of hitters have gone through their entire careers without hitting 3 Grand Slammers.
Ron Willis facing Jim Northrup. And he taps it back to the pitcher's leg, stepping on second. Maxwell over to first for a double play, and in the score is K-line. Northrup does not get credit for a run batted in. So K-line's run makes it now 6-1. They went right through the legs of Northrup, but very alertly Maxwell out of the bag at second. Comes up with a double play. Norm Cash is now third. 2 down. Bill Freehan has struck out, flied out, and popped up. Breaking pitch away from him, a ball. 1-0 pitch. Serve is over, 1-1. A 1-1 pitch. Low to him for a ball, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Low for 3-1 now. Downward is due up next if Freehan gets on. Tigers have 2 outs. Cash is at third. One pitch to him. Going after that inside fastball, 3-2. Just got a piece of it. Freehan's been an iron man this year. As a catcher, he led the Tigers in games played. He gets hit a lot by pitchers. Set a new American League record this year. He was hit 24 times by pitch balls. Here's the 3-2 delivery. Struck him out on the curve, and that's all for the Tigers in the second. But they picked up another run on 2 hits. No errors, 1 left. At the end of 6 1/2, it's the Tigers 6 and the Cardinals 1.
Dodge Fever saves the day. He lost his head over Dodge Coronet.
Dodge Coronet, Design 69. Proving it costs less than you'd think to go first class on a 117-inch wheelbase. Coronet, trim enough outside to handle quickly, easily. Big enough inside to handle a crowd in comfort. 17 Coronets to choose from, including the Coronet Super B with 383 cubes of standard V8. A wild new way to get Dodge Fever.
Dodge is turning up the fever now. Get your cheerful new Dodge Fever now.
Dodge Fever at your Dodge dealer.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is Kurt Gowdy with Harry Carey and Tony Kubek. The Tigers now have made some defensive moves. Roy Euler goes to shortstop. Mickey Stanley goes back to his regular center field position. Willie Horton is out of the game, and Jim Northrup moves from center field to left field. And Tim McCarver starts the last of the 7th for the Cardinals. No hits in 2 times. Both times grounding out to the infield. Hard ground ball rammed to Dick McAuliffe. 1 away. McAuliffe has played a very steady second base today. Ron Davis has struck out and flied out.
Mickey Stanley certainly hasn't hurt the Tigers as a shortstop. Played well these 2 days.
Davis hits the fly ball out to Northrup and left. 2 down. You know, here we were talking about Northrup's grand slams. The National League all-time leader in grand slam home runs, Gil Hodges, the manager of the Mets, is watching this game in an Atlanta hospital, recovering from a heart attack, and we all wish him well and speedy recovery.
I should say we do. What a wonderful gentleman. A great baseball man.
Del Maxville takes a strike. He's flied out and grounded out. Joe Hodges will be back hitting the Mets in spring training next year. The 0-1 pitch is fouled into the seats down the right field line. Ed Spezio is out on deck, and he's going to bat for Ron Willis.
You know, Kurt, the close-ups that we've seen on Mickey Lolich, he doesn't look as if he's even broken a sweat.
No balls, 2 strikes. One and 2. There's a beautiful breaking pitch around the knees for strike 3. A very easy inning for Lolich. Cardinals are down in order, and at the end of 7, it's the Tigers 6 and the Cardinals 1.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, feel confident. Stay dry with new Right Guard Antiperspirant, a completely new product from Right Guard. Right Guard Antiperspirant is a new defense against perspiration. It contains a tested agent that checks perspiration wetness. Feel confident. Stay dry. Get new Right Guard Antiperspirant in the silver can.
10 more blades to go.
5 blades to go.
3? Just 3 blades to go? That's it? I used up all the old blades? Now I can use the new Gillette Super Stainless Steel blade with the miracle plastic coating on the edge. They say it's supposed to spoil.
The spoiler. We pause now for station identification. This is the CBC Television Network.
Once again, to his left, to his right, shortstop Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. We're down here talking to the commissioner's right-hand man, or one of them, Monty Irvin. Monty, congratulations on your new job.
Thanks so much, Tony. I'm really enjoying it.
How are you enjoying the series?
Just great. A lot of action today.
Of course, being in the commissioner's office, you have to be impartial, don't you? Being a National Leaguer, you can't pick sides.
No, we're just rooting for good plays, and whoever wins this doesn't matter, just as long as it's a good game.
Monty Irvin, thank you once again. Let's go on back upstairs right now.
Don Wirth will be starting it off for the Tigers in the 8th inning. Don has popped up, walked twice. Lolich will be up behind him, and then the top of the order, McCullough. And Willis's fastballs for a strike. Riles, Carlton, and Willis have worked today for the Cardinals. One and one. Tigers had a home run by Horton in the 2nd, a home run by Lolich in the 3rd. They had 3 more in the 6th and another one in the 7th. Cardinals got their lone run in the 6th. Curve is outside to him. Ball 2, 2-1. Mayo Smith, criticized in some quarters, foul ball back, for starting Stanley as shortstop. The way Stanley has played, Smith looks like a genius.
It was a daring move, and it's paid off. At least it hasn't hurt.
Stanley started a big double play there in the 6th to get Lolich and the Tigers out of a jam. Ball 3, but now Stanley's back in center field. Quite a ball player, Harry, that can come from center field into shortstop and go back there again. That's very, very unusual.
Certainly shows a versatility which is not too common.
3-2 to Don Wirth. He's out. Willis' 2nd strikeout. Mickey Lolich. He should get a hand here for his fine pitching today, and he does. He has handcuffed the Cardinals so far. Olich has hit a home run, hit into a fourth play, and struck out. The strike. One out, nobody on. And there's his second hit. Lolich singles in the center. What a day he's having.
Let's check it. Are you sure this isn't his birthday today? He's celebrating something.
That's the 12th hit for the Tigers. The Cardinals have had 4. Dick McAuliffe, 2 hits and 4 times. We're at the top of the Tiger batting order now. The Tigers are ahead 6-1. Blown away to him. Ball 1 to Dick McAuliffe. Lives in Avon, Connecticut. Fastball is through. Strike 1. 1-1 to McAuliffe. Mickey Stanley on deck. A 1-1 pitch. 2-1. Remember, Saturday it's Ray Washburn, right-hander, going for the Cardinals, and Earl Wilson, a right-hander for the Tigers, with Gibson and McLean scheduled to come back against each other on Sunday. Undoubtedly Lolich for the Tigers on Monday. If they're there Monday. This one will tell it. 3-1. Probably Browse back again for the Cardinals, would you say, Harry?
That's his rotation in this series.
Olive walks. The Tigers have runners on first and second. They've had a lot of base runners in this game. Mickey Stanley's coming up now. He's had 1 hit and 4 times. Playing Stanley straight away. Strike to him, 0-1. Crowd sitting back quietly. Their Cardinals are trailing by 5. Ground ball to second. Javier scooping to Maxwell for 1. Great relay by Maxwell to get the double play. No runs, 1 hit, there were no errors, 1 left. And at the end of 7.5, it's the Tigers 6 and the Cardinals 1.
Just look what Plymouth's up to now. Just look what Plymouth's up to now. Driving will never be the same again for you.
Introducing the 1969 Plymouth. Fury. This year it's a whole new car. Longer, wider, completely redesigned from rubber to roofline. Belvedere, our mid-size success car. 26 models, 18 colors, 76 interiors. Valiant, The compact that didn't get bigger, just better. Barracuda. 4 great engines, 3 great bodies, and a torsion bar suspension for true sports car handling. See what Plymouth's up to now at your Plymouth dealers.
Just look what Plymouth's up to now.
Last of the 8th inning, Gagliano is going to bat for Ron Willis, then Lou Brock and Javier. And the second game of the series being brought to you live and in color from Busch Memorial Stadium. Exclusively on NBC, where America watches more sports than on any other network. Phil Gagliano, who played American Legion ball with Tim McCarver, another Memphis boy. Going against Mickey Lolich. Gagliano hit .228 for the year. No homers, 13 runs batted in. Strike 1. Mickey Lolich has been a superb left-handed starter today. He's allowed only 4 hits. They've all been singles. 2 of them infield hits. There's his breaking pitch for strike 2. He has walked 2. Mayo Smith, the Tiger manager, probably in the 8th inning today feeling much better than he did yesterday in the 8th inning. The 2-strike pitch. High with a fastball. Lolich has struck out 7. You know, he's right-handed. He writes right-handed, he eats right-handed, he does everything else except pitch. Right-handed. The 1-2 delivery. Let's see if Cash gets a play on this one. Can't quite. When he was a youngster, though, he fell off a motorcycle, injured himself. And while he was injured, he learned to write right-handed and to do everything right-handed. The Cardinals wish he were pitching right-handed.
Maybe right-handed, he'd have him shut out, though.
The 1-2 pitch. 2-2. He is shuttled in, Harry, the last couple of years in and out of the National Guard has hurt him. You know, he goes away on active duty, then comes back.
May have cost the Tigers the pennant last year.
The 2-2 pitch to Gagliano. Wide with that one. 3-2 now. These Cardinal fans are waiting for something to start here. Their team is trailing 6-1 in the last of the 8th. He is shuttled in, Harry, the last couple of years in and out of the National Guard has hurt him. You know, he goes away on active duty, then comes back.
May have cost the Tigers the pennant last year.
The 2-2 pitch to Gagliano. Wide with that one. 3-2 now. These Cardinal fans are waiting for something to start here. Their team is trailing 6-1 in the last of the 8th. Three and 2 count. Chopper hit the Word at third. Strong, accurate throw. Word seldom throws the ball away. 1 down. Top of the order, and Lou Brock has struck out twice, has walked, he's stolen a base, and he has scored the Cardinals' only run. Lolich has had 2 good fielding plays behind him. In the first inning, a key play, Al Kaline galloping across the foul line to make a running catch of Cepeda's fly ball. It was foul, but it turned the first inning around. And then Stanley starting the important double play in the 6th. Strike to Lou Brock. Playing Brock to the opposite field. Outside to him, a ball, 1-1. 1-1 pitch. Ball 2, 2-1 to Lou Brock. One out, nobody on. Right back through the box. Base hit into center field. Let's see what Brock does. He attempted 7 steals in the World Series last year. Stole all 7. He's attempted 2 steals this year and has been successful. So he's 9 for 9 in stealing in the last 2 World Series.
And being behind 6-1 in the 8th won't make him hesitate if he thinks that he can get a jump on Lolich.
Julio Javier, single to left, had an infield hit and he struck out. You wouldn't think Brock could get this big a lead, Harry, on a left-hander, but he really walks off there against Lolich, who does not have a good move to first, but his motion to the plate makes it appear as he's making a move to first base. Brock had a big jump on him the last time. A ball.
He's got a rather slow backswing, Kurt. That's what gives the runner a good jump on him.
Watch Brock study him. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out. Brock at first. There's his move over. The Tigers are ahead 6-1. This is the last of the 8th inning. He's got a big lead. Brock, like Maury Wills, says he prefers running against left-handers, even though they can see him better. He says he can also see their moves better on the mound. Wide lead for him. Lolich drives him back. That's what a player like Brock can do here. It's a 6-1 ball game. Yet now he has everybody stirred up. Whoa! Got to go to Cash, and he's in the steal second. And they really threw the ball in the left field.
He had him read perfectly. It looked like he intentionally enticed the throw with that long lead, fully intending to break for second as the ball came towards first. And it worked out perfectly for him.
Lou Brock, who broke a World Series record last year by stealing 7 bases, has swiped 3 already this year. We have a 1-0 count to Javier, who's almost been forgotten by everyone at the plate. Ground ball hit to Don Wirt. He looks Brock back to second, throws to first, 2 down. And Kurt Flood will be up. When that ball was released by Mickey Lolich, you saw the shortstop Euler over at second base, and they had a big hole there on the left side of the infield.
And that's exactly where Javier was trying to hit the ball, but pulled it too much towards third rather than short. You know, it's with the World Series resuming in Detroit in the 3rd game, I guess one of the greatest base runners in baseball history wore the Tiger uniform many years ago, Ty Cobb.
Two down. Kurt Flood up. Brock at second. Tries to bunt as he did yesterday in the late innings. Foul back for a strike.
A fellow like Brock can sure fill the air with excitement.
Lou Brock has broken one record for stolen bases. That's in one World Series. And he can shoot at another all-time stolen base record. Foul back. The all-time record for most stolen bases in World Series competition is held by Eddie Collins. He played in 6 World Series and stole 14 bases. Brock has now stolen 10. This is his 3rd series. No balls, 2 strikes to Kurt Flood. 2 down, Brock at second. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Tigers have 6 runs, 12 hits. The Cardinals have 1 run, 5 hits. This is the last of the 8th that has just joined us. And he struck him out on that sinking fastball. No runs for the Cardinals. 1 hit, there were no errors, and 1 man left. At the end of 8, it is still the Tigers 6 and the Cardinals 1.
In this remote part of Canada, people depend on the river. And by river, regularly as clockwork, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce brings banking service to them. The SS Jean-Briand is just one of the more than 1,350 commerce branches in this country. It's typical of commerce determination to make your banking convenient. Think how handy your own commerce branch is. Here's why. Because the commerce has more branches than any other bank on this continent.
Bank of Commerce, Bank of Commerce.
One of the world's great banks.
A left-hander, Joe Horner, now is warming up for the Cardinals, and already warmed up is Tony Kubek.
Thank you, Kurt. I know you and Harry are working awfully hard up there, but down here, some of the usherettes, and they're pretty, you can see, work hard also. Sherry Gaston, how many Cardinal games have you seen this year?
Just about all of them. I've only missed a couple.
So it's safe to say, I guess, you're a Cardinal fan, and
Oh, yes.
you're looking for them to come back, or you think they'll wrap it up in Detroit? What do you think the situation will be?
Well, I hope they win it at home. I'd like to see them win it at home because they didn't last year. And just all the excitement.
Well, of the more than 2 million people that came to this ballpark, I think you'll agree they didn't all come to see the players. Some came to see the pretty young usherettes. Thank you very much, Sherry Gaston.
Thank you.
Let's go on back upstairs to Kurt and Harry.
Second game of the '68 World Series being brought to you live and in color from Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, exclusively on NBC, where America watches more sports than on any other network.
Kurt, that Kubek sure has a tough assignment, doesn't he? All those pretty young things.
We're going to have a little meeting after the game. Al Kaline, 1 hit in 4 times. Starts it off for the Tigers in the 9th and takes the strike. Kaline had never played in a World Series until this one. There have been other outstanding players who had gone through their careers, Hall of Famers, Luke Appling, Ted Lyons, Harry Heilman, George Sisler, and Willie Keeler. Hall of Famers who never got into a World Series. The man we'll be working with Saturday in Detroit, George Kell, Vinny Minoso, Mickey Vernon, Cecil Travis, Rick Farrell, Rocky Colavito, Ernie Banks. Kaline has his 2nd hit of the game. All those outstanding players never had the good fortune to play on pennant winners. Al Kaline's on first. Nobody out, and Norm Cash has been the batting star for the Tigers. After fouling out in the 2nd, he singled to right in the 4th, hit a home run to right in the 6th, and singled to center in the 7th. He's 3 out of 4. 13 hits now for the Tigers. Tries to bunt, pops it up to Shannon, can't handle it. There goes Kaline to second, and a wide throw pulls the shortstop Maxwell off the bag.
Let's watch the replay. The ball is bunted in the air. Shannon just gets his glove on it. Naturally, the runner, thinking the ball might be caught, Kaline was near first base, so a good throw would have had him. But as you can see, Maxwell is pulled off the bag. So Shannon will be charged with an error.
And the Tigers have runners on first and second. Nobody out in the ninth. They're already leading 6-1. Roy Euler is up for the first time in the series. He took Willie Horton's spot in the batting order. The Tigers threatening again, and the Cardinals now are defending against a possible bunt. A ball to Euler, who's had the distinction, the tag of good field, no hit, but an excellent defensive shortstop.
Detroit Ball Club rebounding from 17 strikeouts yesterday to 13 hits today, Kurt.
He makes that third baseman handle the ball. Sacrifice. That's the play on that one. Make that third baseman come in and handle the ball. A perfect sacrifice bunt with runners on first and second, nobody out. Over to third now is Kaline. Cash is at second, one out, and Jim Northrup's up. Northrup has popped up, flying out single, and hit into a double play. The Cardinals are bringing the infield in. Ripping away at the fastball. Tigers had a hit in the second, 2 hits in the third, a hit in the fourth, a hit in the fifth, 4 hits in the sixth, 2 in the seventh, 1 in the eighth, and another single here in the ninth. The only inning they failed to hit was the first. Strike 2 on a fastball by Joe Horner. Horner had an odd record. He won 8 games, all extra inning games. No balls and 2 strikes. He got him on 3 pitches. Northrop's out. 2 down, runners on second and third. Bill Freehan still looking for his first hit of the series. Struck out, flat out, popped up and struck out in this game. And struck out twice yesterday. They're going to put him on with first base open and pitch to Don Wirt, who follow Freehan. And if you Cardinal fans are looking ahead to the last of the ninth, the Cardinals have Cepeda, Shannon, and McCarver due up. 3-0 now to Freehan. Ball 4 loads the bases. Tigers have received 5 walks today. 13 hits. 3 homers. Don Wirt has popped up, walked twice, and struck out. Ball 1 to him. Mickey Lolich is on deck. He's itching for another time at bat. He'll be talking more about his hitting and his pitching, Harry, with a home run and a single today. Foul back. That's all those pitchers want to talk about, is hitting. And the outfielders are always trying to throw curveballs and knuckleballs on the sideline. The grass always looks greener. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1. That's the lead runner, Kaline at third. Norm Cash is at second. Bill Freehan at first. 2 outs in the top of the ninth, 6-1 Tigers. Three and 1 now. Lolich may get his chance.
If he does, his lead will have increased.
Joel Horner behind Don Wirt, 3-1 with the bases loaded. Ball 4, that forces in a run. Wirt has his 3rd walk. He gets an RBI, and the Tigers lead now 7-1. Slugging Mickey Lolich steps in with a home run in the third. He hit into a force play in the fifth, struck out in the sixth, and singled in the eighth. And he gets a good hand from the fence. Ball one. He hasn't been as overpowering as Gibson was yesterday, who is, but he's been a superb pitcher. The 1-0 pitch. Ball 2 to him, 2-0. The base is still loaded, 2 down. Carver decides he'll have a talk with Horner. Billy Muffett, the pitching coach, is out. The Bayou country of Louisiana.
Kurt, the Tigers have had 19 men reach base so far today.
Two balls, no strikes. 2 down, the base is loaded. A fastball on the inside corner of the letters makes it 2-1.
And if you want to count the man who reached on an error, that would make 20 men on base.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Strike 2 to Lolich. 2-2. Two pitch. 3-2. 2 down. Runners will be going on the pitch. K-line, Cash. Reject that. Cash, Freehan, and Ward on the bases. There they go. Ball 4. Lolich gets his second run batted in. Lolich has now been on base 3 times. 3 walks in a row. It's now 8-1 in favor of the Tigers, and McAuliffe's up at the top of the order.
I don't suppose the scouting report was right on Lolich.
I don't believe they discussed his hitting too much. Well, if he holds on in the ninth, he will be the man of the night in the Motor City, and the Tigers return home tonight. Dick McAuliffe is Dick. Ball 1 to him. And Horner is wild here.
That's unusual for him. Control is his greatest asset.
McAuliffe is the 8th batter up here in the 9th inning for the Tigers. Foul ball, heading toward the seats. Remember an earlier start on Saturday. 12:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Central, 10:30 in the Rockies. I always forget my Rocky Mountain people on that time. And 9:30 in the Pacific Coast with World Series report. And then the third game of the World Series on NBC. One ball, 1 strike. High fly down the right field line. Ron Davis chasing it in foul territory. Still holds on to it. To get the Tigers out. Davis gets a hand for his fine play. 2 runs. There was only 1 hit, 1 error, and 3 left. At the end of 8.5, it's the Tigers 8 and the Cardinals 1.
A truck is a truck, right? Wrong. 69 Dodge and Fargo trucks are sport trucks. Here, take a look. New cushion beam suspension. Chrysler took the elastic off the bankroll to completely re-engineer the suspension and steering on Dodge and Fargo pickup trucks. A sway bar was added, springs redesigned, liners added, and a lot more to make 69 Dodge and Fargo trucks the sweetest handling pickups on the road under any load, bar none. Bumps flatten, potholes smooth out, rides like a limousine. And that's not all. Handsome new long line styling. and comfortable luxury interiors prove you don't have to be ugly to be tough. Dodge and Fargo with cushion beam suspension. Sport Truck 69. See your Chrysler dealer for Sport Truck 69.
The Cardinals' last shot in the last of the ninth inning. Orlando Cepeda. Flied out to right, grounded out. Blooped the single to left. Scored Lou Brock in the sixth with the only Cardinal run. Mike Shannon and Tim McCarver to follow him against Mickey Lolich, who struck out 8, walked 2, and scattered 5 singles. No balls, 1 strike. Bounding ball by Roy Euler in the left field, where it's picked up by Jim Northrup. Spada has his second hit of the game. That's base hit number 6 for the Cardinals. And brings up Mike Shannon. Fly to right, grounded out, and grounded into a double play. A nifty one started by Mickey Stanley in the 6th inning, when the Cardinals were threatening and had already 1 run in. Gave him the breaking pitch for a strike. Stanley is playing Shannon deep in the left center. And Northrop back deep in left, shading the line. The 0-1 pitch. Another breaking pitch. That one got away with that one. It hung up there high. 0-2. Lolich has been using a sinking fastball, breaking pitches, mixing them up. He's been moving that ball around, in and out, up and down. And he's much quicker than he looks in the stands. Sneaky fast. Just topped it. No balls, 2 strikes. Well, if he gets this one, Harry, he'll have those motorcycles revved up tomorrow.
He's had himself quite a day.
Orlando Cepeda's at first. Nobody out. Last of the ninth. 8-1. The Tigers are leading. Didn't miss by much. 1-2.
Tigers have a comfortable lead. Certainly will make that 3rd game most pivotal in Detroit Saturday.
And it's going to be Washburn against Wilson in that game. 2 right-handers. There's a slow curve, and strikeout number 9 for Mickey Lolich. Tim McCarver has gone 0 for 3. Lolich, as we said before the game, has been a strikeout pitcher. He's averaged a little over 8 strikeouts for every 9 innings pitched this year. Line drive to left. Northrop's there. 2 down. 1 more out. And Lolich and the Tigers are all even. Ron Davis has struck out, flied out. Our statistician again today has been Alan Roth, and our production stage manager is Jim O'Gorman. So Mickey Lolich, who was born in Portland, Oregon, now lives in Washington, Michigan. Trying to nail down this final out. Cepeda's on first, 2 down. A strike. Pattern following much like last year. A pop-up down the right field line. Cash has room. That's it. And the Tigers have evened the series. Lolich waiting on the mound for Cash to bring him the ball. Lolich handcuffing the Cardinals on only 1 run and 6 hits. Mayo Smith going out to meet him. Tony Cuccinella. There's Mayo Smith shaking his hand. And the final score, the Tigers 8 runs, 13 hits, and 1 error. The Cardinals had 1 run, 6 hits, and 1 error.
This is Jay Dahlgren of Vancouver. She, along with others like Abigail Hoffman, Irene Piotrowski, Elaine Tanner, and Beverly Boys, is a member of Canada's Women's Olympic team. Canada's best athletes compete at Mexico City for the 1968 Summer Olympics in everything from track and field to swimming and diving, from rowing to gymnastics, from boxing to horse jumping. You'll be able to watch the best in Canada match strength and speed against the best in the world as CBC Television brings you complete and exclusive coverage of the 1968 Olympics direct from Mexico. Watch the action on CBC Television, your Olympic network.
Watch the Olympics from October 12th to the 27th.
Back and the star for the Tigers today, Mickey Lolich.
Thank you very much. We're down here talking to Mickey Lolich. Mickey, I don't know what to talk to you about. You're hitting or you're pitching?
Well, I'd like to talk about the pitching. I think that's more of a class that I usually fall in.
We were just talking just a moment ago, and you did a great job, but I think, now correct me, I think I've seen you have better stuff.
You're right, Tony. In fact, I almost didn't pitch today's ball game. Overnight, last night, I developed an infection in my groin, and it sapped quite a bit of the energy out of me. And I was expected to pitch 5 or 6 innings, then somebody come in and take over for me. That is, if I started for a little while there. I wasn't going to start today's ball game because I wasn't feeling strong at all.
Well, luckily for the Tigers and Mayo Smith, you came around. What about your hitting? Let's talk about the home run. I noticed when you got down to first base, you almost tripped over the bag. You didn't know which way to go. You didn't know what to do, did you?
No, I didn't. This is the first home run I've ever hit in my life in professional baseball, much less the major leagues. And when I hit the ball, I knew I hit the ball good, but I didn't know how high I hit it. And I was watching the left fielder go back, and just as I got to the base, I noticed he couldn't go any farther, and all of a sudden I heard the roar come up from the stands. And I'll admit, I was looking at the ball, and I stepped right over the top of first base and had to come back and touch it.
Today, Mickey, of course, the Cardinals couldn't do much with you, but you sure must have some respect for them. Who impresses you? What about their strong points? What about the next time you face them?
Well, I'll have to go along with Lou Brock and his base stealing. I thought I had him picked off that last time, and he sort of outran the ball to second base. So I'm quite impressed with his speed, and I'm also very impressed with Tim McCarver against left-handed pitching. Generally, you find a left-hander has a tendency to give a little bit on me because I do drop down, but he was in there swinging the bat real good, and I was quite impressed with him. And also Orlando Cepeda. I threw a lot of good sinking fastballs, which a lot of guys will swing over the top of, but he hit them right on the button, and he got a couple of base hits out of it and hit the ball real hard all day.
Mickey Lolich, congratulations again, both hitting and pitching. Nice seeing you.
Okay, Tony, thank you.
I'm going to talk to your shortstop now. Thank you so much, Mickey. Mickey Stanley, come on in here. Mick, I don't know, they've been saying, watch out. You. Play in the 6th inning. You look like you're right at home.
Tony, thank you very much. I think yesterday getting the first ground ball of the game helped relax me a lot. As soon as I caught that and threw the runner out, I seemed to settle down a little bit.
Mick, you know, I was kind of in the same kind of situation with Casey Stengel moving at different positions, but I had experience at short, and I knew the first series game I played in 57. I was nervous as could be and a lot of pressure, and I felt before yesterday's ball game, you must have been under more pressure. I know you were than anybody else in the ballpark.
Well, I was, no doubt about it, I was nervous, Tony, and getting a base hit the first time up in the first inning relieved a little pressure. Then, like I say, getting that first ground ball and getting that out of the way relieved a lot of pressure. I didn't want to wait 4 or 5 innings before I got one. Then with runners on and take a chance of throwing one away. So I was glad to get it over with.
Mick, what about the Cardinals? What about Brock in particular? He gets on first base and it rattles the pitcher, but it also rattles an infielder, doesn't it?
It sure does. The fielder covering, I know myself when he was on first base, I was watching him more than I was the hitter. I was paying more attention whether or not I should be covering the base or fielding the ground ball.
I know I shouldn't be talking about yesterday, but I will just briefly. What about Bob Gibson? Have you ever seen anybody like Bob?
No, Tony, I think he's the toughest pitcher I've ever faced. I'd hate to make it a steady diet facing him.
He's tough. What about today? Nelson Browns has been a top winner for them. He was a little shaky today, but he's a pretty good pitcher, too.
He certainly is. I know I never got one fastball down the middle all day long. He hit that outside corner, and he got his breaking ball over pretty well, too.
Let's talk about the Tigers' plans, rather, for the third game, the opening game in Tigers Stadium. Who's manager Mayo Smith going to go with, or has he announced it yet?
Earl Wilson's going to be the pitcher, for sure.
And he, of course, does what, and what can we look for off Earl?
Well, Earl's a control pitcher, just like Mickey Lois. He's got a pretty good fastball and keeps the ball down. He gets his breaking ball over at all times, and Earl helps himself with the bat, so you can count on him having some rips up there tomorrow night.
Talking about the bat, Mickey, I was talking to Wally Moses before the ballgame. I've never seen a change in a hitter as compared to you last year as compared to this year. You've just changed completely. You're hitting the ball so well.
Thank you, Tony. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of depressing moments, but I think the big thing that helped me is Wally got me to shorten up my swing, short, quick stroke instead of a long, slow stroke.
Mickey Stanley, heck of a job at shortstop and center field at the end of the ballgame. We'll see you in Detroit.
Thank you, Tony.
Now let's go on back upstairs.
All right, it's 8-1, the final score. And Harry Carey, we were talking about the pattern this year, about the same as last year. You'll remember Gibson won the opening game, beating the Red Sox at Boston. Then Lombard came back in the second game with a one-hitter and beat the Cardinals 5-0. Lolich coming back for the Tigers today to get them even, and now they move on to Detroit. But Lolich did the job the way Lombard did it last year for Boston.
He certainly did that. He was an outstanding pitcher today. And I tell you something, Kurt, the Cardinals must know now they're in for a tough series because this is a good Detroit ball club. And as a matter of fact, even in the game the Cardinals won yesterday, you know, they didn't do too much hitting. They only had 6 hits, the same number they got today. So they know they're in a tough series, and now it goes over to Detroit. And one thing about the Cardinals, I want to point out that each of the last 2 pennants they have won on the road. They won more games each year on the road than they did at home. So they won't exactly be pasties either over there in Detroit any more than Detroit was here in St. Louis. These are 2 good ball clubs. It's going to be a tough series, and I don't know, your guess is as good as mine as to who's going to win it.
Well, a lot of people, of course, you always favor the home park, but a lot of people think the Tigers will have the big edge in Tiger Stadium because of their superior power, but some of the Cardinals, McCarver, Brock, are going to like those short right field seats there, too.
I think particularly that fellow like Cepeda and Shannon, and Javier becomes a home run threat in the Detroit ball club. It's a big ball game Saturday, Kurt, with Earl Wilson and Ray Washburn.
All right, let's go back to Tony again.
Thank you, Kurt. I think my impressions of both ball teams, as a matter of fact, you got to look out for Brock. He's going to show them again up in Detroit, but the Tigers have come back. They're doing something they've done all year long, something that we talked about with Mayor Kavanaugh early in the ballgame and during the ballgame. They bounce back. They don't give up. They're runs behind. They've got the power to come back. They did it again today. Looking forward to a great series. 7 games, I think. Hopefully 7 games. I think it's going to be a close one. Let's go on back upstairs right now.
Incidentally, the last series victory by a Tiger team was the final game of the 1945 World Series. That was at Chicago when the Tigers beat the Cubs 9-3, and a left-hander by the name of Hal Newhouser pitched the complete game for the Tigers. And so some 23 years later, another left-hander, Mickey Lolich, wins the next Tiger World Series victory. Well, they're all even at 1 apiece. It was the Tigers completely dominating the day with 3 homers. They had 13 hits, and they win it easy 8-1. It'll be Washburn, a right-hander, and also Wilson, a right-hander, the 2 starting pitchers in Detroit on Saturday afternoon. So now this is Kurt Gowdy on behalf of Harry Carey and Tony Kubek, bidding you good afternoon from Bush Memorial Stadium. And this game is authorized under television rights granted by Major League Baseball solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner's office is prohibited. So don't forget to join Jim Simpson and Sandy Koufax again Saturday at 12:30. That's 12:30 Eastern Time for World Series report. And right after that will be Game 3 of the World Series. The second game of the 1968 World Series has been brought to you by
Chrysler Canada Limited and the Dodge, Plymouth, Roots, and Simca dealers who sell the quality engineered cars and trucks by Chrysler.
By the more than 1,350 branches in Canada of the Imperial Bank of Commerce, and by Gillette, makers of new foamy lemon lime shave cream and the new Techmatic adjustable razor. For the remainder of this time period, we present a short film titled Windjammer, already in progress.